You're going to do this, you're going to have to do it correctly. I think the ideal is to make sure that she's a daughter that is connected to somebody very influential. I don't know. I mean, if you could get a senator's daughter, that would be great. But unfortunately, most of the senator's daughters that fit the target demographic you're going for are way too young to actually get blamed for what you really want set up. And my dad was just enlisted, which means he's a working class schmuck. And I got to be very careful because then he might be able to get prosecuted in Russia, but the United States isn't even going to pay attention to that unless he's dealing meth or maybe he gets busted for cocaine. But the only way he could get busted for cocaine is if he gets busted with a cooler marked vaccines, right? Yeah, that's exactly what we want. We want to make sure daddy gets busted for taking out as many coolers filled with vaccines as possible. And I happen to be in luck because right here on the major drug dealers' website, most of their facilities that would require some facilities management are located pretty close to where my dad lives. My big concern is this one in Philadelphia. How close is that to the old PES site? You know that whole like area where they had that shale patch and then they had to shut down. What was the name of that gas and oil company? Anybody remember? Oh yeah, Shell. They had to shut it down. And now what are they talking about? They want to turn it into warehousing. But the fucked up thing is I have this friend and she tried to start an LLC. And the LLC is based on a business plan. But the year after she came up with this business plan, this huge investment management company did this really weird Irish thing where it set up this massive investment scheme that had all these companies based in Ireland. But then they only lasted for 3 days. And a bunch of them got swapped out after 3 days. And it just so happens that around that time frame, they were also connected to filings associated with protests concerning the old PES site that was supposed to be turned into warehousing. Yeah, right? What do you think they're warehousing at that PES site? You don't think it might be anything connected to this senior facilitator, maintenance, and reliability operations associated with the big drug dealers HQ. You don't think they might be trying to warehouse some of that stuff in that old shale patch? Well, the good thing about it is it's already totally toxed up. So if I could find a way to call in that airstrike from Utah, which is near the other military chemical weapons disposal site, how long do you think it would take for those F-16s to get to Philadelphia? Do you think they could be there by tomorrow morning, say 5 a.m.? Do you think if I put the call in right now, they could be ready to go to make sure that that was delivered before the sun came up tomorrow morning? I think they could. Now, the thing is, because we've got these options left over from the 2018 election, which you would only fucking know about if you were in Dallas and you literally saw them hook up the cryptos the night before, right? Only if you're in Dallas would you know. So you could have one deployment out to that PES shale patch, and where could the other one go? Well, what am I looking at right here? Frederick, Maryland. Hey, you guys know about that thing in Frederick? Do you know about Frederick? Do you know about the history? Barbara Fritchie? When she hung her head out the window and said, "Take if you want my old gray head, but leave my country's flag," she said. Yeah, they got the Civil War museum out there. They got a Civil War museum about the history of the medical sector. The history of Civil War medicines out in Frederick, Maryland. You know what else is close to Frederick, Maryland? According right now, you know what they just said? It is an 11-minute drive from Frederick, Maryland to Fort Detrick. Oh my God! You don't think these drug dealers would have a major manufacturing center right down from Fort Detrick, do you? Do you guys know what Fort Detrick is? Have you ever heard? Do you know that they actually do testing on chemical and biological weapons at Fort Detrick? Yeah! Did you know? Did you know in the autumn of 2019 there was actually a report that they did an inspection at Fort Detrick and they found a chemical and biological agent that was missing? No, yeah, like right before anybody started talking about COVID-19. Somebody's doing a spot inspection at Fort Detrick. Hey, did you hear all those stories about those people living near Fort Detrick that were talking about all the medical problems they were having? And then major drug dealers have a job opening for facilities management Less than 11 minutes away? Oh my God. See, I wish it wasn't so racist because I'm pretty sure what they want me to do is to take advantage of that option that's already been set up from earlier. Remember when they had that weird thing happen where they had that guy that just called in that announcement about how there was gonna be something happening? They told him to clear the area and all of a sudden a car blew up? Oh my God. You don't think they're calling in an Irish car bomb, do you? I think that's exactly what they want. 11 minutes sounds totally feasible, but I really want that airstrike. I really, really, really want to close out those disgusting cryptos that were set up as part of that Senate election in 2018 by calling 2 airstrikes at once for tomorrow morning. I know, it probably cost a lot more in jet fuel. It probably, would take more time to coordinate, but I think that's exactly the kind of statement we need to make, don't you? And I mean, it's right down from Fort Detrick. Don't you think they'd have enough hazmat on hand? If it's only an 11 minute ride by car and it's actually a drug dealer's plant where they have chemical weapons, which, by the way, just so you know, going all the way back to the Clinton administration, there is plenty of precedent for identifying an alleged pharmaceutical company as a manufacturer of chemical weapons and calling in an airstrike. I'm just saying. It's not like I'm doing anything wrong. It's the kind of thing, actually, the president actually did that, right? Now, if we're concerned about the immediate area, then we might want to take notice about this other notice. What does this say? FEMA will open 3 COVID-19 vaccine sites in Texas. This is less than 10 days ago they announced this. There's 5. Did you know that? They were talking about 5 initially, 3 in Texas. You know what else they have a triad of in Texas? Army Futures Command. Yeah. So if we had to choose between only having the option of taking out 3 drug distribution centers or the 3 primary centers that finance that drug distribution, what do you think we should choose? It's only at 5:45 p.m. It's 18 minutes to 6 p.m. on February 17th. I think if we get on the horn and take care of this by 8 o'clock, we can get both those airstrikes tomorrow. And we can actually probably take out both these tongs tonight. Don't you? I think that would be a great way. Tomorrow would be the 10-day on the brine disposal pipeline. Do you think this is a more appropriate way to deal with outstanding issues connected to what happened during Hurricane Katrina than, I don't know, maybe trying to set up black ops for the teachers' retirement system using a Supreme Court justice's confirmation proceeding? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I do. Let me know what you think as soon as possible.